Hello, Cincinnati. Let's give Verdea another hand. He did a good job, didn't he? I want to thank all the folks on the pre-program, and thank you, Democratic Party Chair Tim Burke. Thank you, Denise Driehaus, and good luck to you in this election. And thank you, Alicia Reese, who has led Ohio in believing that more people should vote, not fewer. Thank you. You ought to give this guy a hand. You know, his side has had a very bad week, so let's try to make him feel better. Let's make him feel better. Look, what you are seeing, hey, Steph. Thank you. Wait. What you are seeing is basically a microcosm of what this campaign's all about. You got one person who's a master at rubbing salt in people's wounds, doesn't pay taxes, doesn't even contribute to his own family charity, doesn't pay his contractors, takes the life savings of people that go to Trump you and don't get anything except trumped. But he's really good at making people mad. So the fundamental decision you have to make in the whole election is, how do you feel about America and where we're going? And if you think everything's going to hell in a handbasket, then maybe you want to have somebody who's great at dividing us, distracting us, and demonizing those who are different. But if you think that our best days are still ahead, if you think we're fortunate because with all the problems we've got, we have too much income stagnation, too much income inequality, we have too much tension within many of our communities, we have unaddressed mental health and drug addiction needs, all of our challenges, we're still outperforming every other big economy on earth. We still have the youngest, most diverse workforce in the world of any big country. We still have the most productive workforce in manufacturing in the world, and we can get a lot of those jobs back. It just depends on what you think. Give him a hand. I'm telling you, don't treat them. Hey, wait. If you want to know what this is about, turn on the TV when you get home tonight and look at what President Obama said on television about it. So, anyway, it depends on what you think. Really, if you believe that, you should not vote for Hillary. And if you believe that, America's best days are behind us. I believe America's days are ahead of us. We just had the 79th month in a row where we had more jobs than the previous month. Even when I was president, I gave you 3 balanced budgets, 3 surpluses, and we all rose together for the first time in 50 years. Even then, we didn't have 79 months of job growth. I'm telling you, we are just this close to taking off. And it all depends on our attitude. Are we thinking about the future or looking back? Do we want to go back to trickle-down economics? Well, that's one of the issues in the campaign. For all that railing about the establishment, the truth is, Hillary wants to go forward to invest and grow this economy from the middle out and the bottom up. Her opponent wants to go backwards and cut taxes on millionaires, billionaires, and big corporations, whether they move jobs or keep them here. And you just got to decide what you want. But you can't pretend there's not a choice here. It's clear. And it will affect your life. So I'm going to commit something that is really weird in this election. I'd like to talk about what this election means to you and your future and how we're all going to live. Here's what I think. You might win an election distracting people, dividing the country, and demonizing your opponents. But after you get there, if that's what you do, you won't do anything good for anybody, and we won't be better off. On the other hand, if you decide to reject that and to concentrate on what we can do good instead of distracting people, to cooperate instead of dividing, and to create opportunities for everybody to rise together because we are stronger together, America will be a whole lot better off. This is a very straightforward choice. There's only one person you can vote for who's got a plan to create more than 10 million jobs by modernizing our infrastructure. Not just roads and bridges and ports and airports, but did you see me stop and shake hands with all the construction workers over there? Look at that old building. One of the things my foundation did at no cost to the taxpayers was to convince the public employee unions to put $16 billion aside from their pension funds for a good rate of return to invest in infrastructure, putting people to work in private sector construction unions. We've allocated $12.5 billion of that. We already got 100,000 jobs out of it. No government action. I just got back from 2 days in Iowa. The Secretary of Agriculture was governor of Iowa. He's the most underrated person in the president's cabinet because he never asks for any credit for himself. He just shows up for work and gets something good done. But he took all these programs that have been adopted over the years, a little bit of money here, a little bit of there, put it all together. And the Agriculture Department has created 250,000 jobs in small towns and rural areas in America to give people there a chance to be part of our shared future. I'm telling you something. You know, when you reach a certain age, all you care about is whether people are better off, whether kids have a brighter future, and whether we're coming together instead of tearing each other apart. The rest of this is all background music. I don't care what anybody tells you. And we just got to decide what it is we're about, what kind of people we are, and whether we really believe we're stronger together, and whether we really believe it matters. It does matter. I have now spent half my life trying to help somebody find a job, start a business, make a farm work, get health care and education for their kids, resolve problems in the community so we can all go forward together. And I know wherever people are working together, good things are happening. In America and all over the world. Wherever they spend all their time on the kind of acid pouring we've been put through, good things are not happening. I don't think you should feel surprised, but you ought to feel bad for those people. Because if you pour acid down people's throat solidly every single day for a year and a half, some of it's going to come back out. You can't deaden the spirit and poison the mind, numb the heart without having some consequences. But it won't be good. Nobody's going to be doing anything for anybody else. So first, we need a modern infrastructure program. And it's not just the stuff you think, not just roads and bridges and ports and airports and seaports. It's things like that building. And it's things like recognizing that Flint, Michigan is not the only place in this country where children have elevated lead levels in their blood for drinking water out of rusty pipes. And you just think about it. If we ripped up all those rusty pipes, we could give all of our kids a healthy future and create an enormous number of good, high-paying jobs doing that work. I'll give you another example. Every single day in America, somewhere between 3 and 5 million school children are given a homework assignment that requires them to get on the internet, and they can't do it. Why? Because here we are in 2016, a device that was born in America, the internet, is not available to people because they don't have broadband coverage where they live. If you did that, you could create millions of opportunities for business growth in places that have been left out and left behind, and all those kids could do their homework, and they'd have a better chance in the race of life in the future. I'll give you another example that directly relates to Ohio's capacity over the long run to generate new manufacturing jobs. I just spent 2 days on a bus in Iowa, and I was traveling around, and some of you probably know this, but Iowa has the biggest baseload capacity of its electricity and wind of any state in America. And guess what? Did they pay a penalty for leading the fight against the worst consequences of the climate changing? No. They also have the lowest electric rates in America, because once you build those things, the power's free. And that's a part of our future too. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, we have to get back into small business again. Hillary supports the Dodd-Frank law, which the president signed, which keeps Wall Street from ever wrecking Main Street again. Another big choice. Behind all the screams, her opponent has promised to repeal it, which is just what they want. You tell me who the establishment candidate is. She wants to keep it, he wants to repeal it. However, she does want to make more lending available to small businesses and make sure that banks don't have to spend as much money processing a loan for $50,000 as they do one for $50 million. We got to get back in the small business again. It's 2/3 of our new job growth. And the third thing we got to do is to make sure that we're investing in all our communities. Tim Ryan. Paul Ryan's got his own problems. I feel bad for him.